Yo, 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 what's good, what's good, what's good? You didn't click this by accident. This is Divine Time with your boy, Donley Divine, where timing is divine, conversations are raw, and growth is inevitable. If you're ready to elevate your mind, your heart, and your perspective, you're exactly where you're meant to be. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share this with someone who needs this message. Let me say this clearly. If you're in the wrong place, you will never get the recognition you deserve, no matter how hard you work. And that hurts because you start questioning yourself, your worth, your value, your gifts. Shoot, there's been a lot of positions that I have worked over the years, and I never really once ever got recognized. I always got told about my work ethic and how much I'm doing and how much I'm helping and providing to the company. But whenever I leave, it's just I'm another person. However, recently I am been with a company for going on 9 months now, and with it, men lie, women lie, but numbers don't. I'll say that much. But when it comes down to it, I want you to ask this question: what if the problem was never you? What if you were never invisible and you were just in a space that honestly couldn't see you? So that's what I want to talk about today. Being in the wrong environment keeps you overlooked, and how aligning with your purpose causes your light to shine farther than you ever imagine. Now, it's crazy because, in all honesty, a lot of individuals will spend many years working somewhere, and their work never gets recognized. So, the first thing I want to talk about today is why hard work isn't always recognized. So, hard work, honestly, we're taught that if you just work hard enough, eventually someone will notice. But that's not always true. You can work your backside off and nothing will really come from it. Hard work in the wrong place doesn't lead to recognition, it leads to exhaustion. How many of y'all have ever been working somewhere, which I know there's a lot of people who have worked at Amazon and other warehouse places, possibly even as a mail carrier, and you are working, 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 working to the point to where it's complete burnout. I mean, then next you start over explaining yourself. You're overperforming. You're over giving. For what? Not a damn thing. And somehow it's still not enough. That's because some environments don't reward growth, they reward comfort, they reward sameness, they reward familiarity. And if your light challenges the room instead of blending in, you'll be overlooked. Not because you're wrong, but because you don't fit their limitations. How many of y'all do not fit the limitations of where you're at currently? Hmm? So let me ask you this. What keeps you there? What keeps you where you're at? You realize that, you know what, the pay really ain't that good, or maybe they got good benefits. What keeps you there? That flows me into the cost of staying where you're not seen. Because I mean, at first, like when you first get there, everything seems cool, seems like it's all good and everything. But staying too long in the wrong place, it comes at a cost. At first, it's subtle. You shrink a little, you soften your voice, you dim parts of yourself to avoid friction. Then one day, you realize you're tired. Not because you lack passion, but it's because you've been surviving where you weren't meant to thrive. The longer you stay where you're not valued, the easier it becomes to forget who you are. There's been times where I've worked at a place, and honestly, I can only really think of one. That was my time in the Marine Corps, where I ended up started turning the Marine Corps into my life rather than me just thinking and realizing I'm just a person in this career. This career is not me. And I mean, honestly, when you start to forget who you are, that's the real danger. It's not rejection, but self abandonment. Self abandonment is the real danger because when you start to abandon who you are as a person to fulfill the desires and wants of a company, You pretty much said, hey, I'm your slave, okay? There's a lot of individuals who have yet to understand exactly what purpose alignment really means. I want y'all to go ahead and put down in the comments what you think purpose alignment really means before I go ahead and go into what it is. All right. Boom, 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 boom. All right. Anywho. So purpose alignment doesn't mean everything becomes easy. It means everything becomes honest. And what I mean by honest, you go back to who you are. You don't care about what everybody else is doing. You're not fitting into this whole persona of I need to be a good corporate role, corporate player. No, you stop pretending. You stop performing. You stop chasing validation. When you're aligned, your energy changes. Your confidence shifts. Your presence speaks before you do. Purpose isn't about being perfect. It's about being authentic. See, a lot of people got it messed up. They're thinking that in order for them to live in their purpose, they need to create this image. And I mean, you see it a lot online and things like that. Or even when people go to jail and they say, or not jail, go to work. Well, it might as well be jail, right? When people go to work and they're code switching, why can't they be authentic? See, that's the thing though. Authenticity attracts what's meant for you without force. So if you're wondering why things aren't coming to you and you might be working a good job and all that, are you being authentic? Or did you just sell out? Because if you're not being yourself in the position that you're in, that means you're not being authentic. You're not doing your purpose because you're not being who you're supposed to be, using your gifts and giving it to the world the way that you're supposed to. And that rolls into this. When you align, your light travels. Now, as I say this, how many individuals out there listening, have you felt like you have been dimmed at the position that you're at? It's okay. Here's the beautiful part. When you align with your purpose, your light doesn't stay contained. It travels. People notice you without you asking. Opportunities find you without you chasing. Your voice reaches rooms you've never stepped in. That's because the right environment doesn't make you loud. It makes you visible. Your light was never meant to beg for attention. It was meant to illuminate. You are the light. You are light. So if you are light, why would you want to be contained in a place that has you in four walls and a roof, making it to where nobody can see you, nobody can hear you, nobody can feel you? Human beings are creatures that seek that community. Not necessarily to be seen, to be heard, but we need to be around others because we all have something to bring to one another. I think one of the biggest issues is the fact that we have a lot of individuals who are afraid to choose alignment. I mean, we are living in a society where everything is revolves around money. You can't do anything without money. We need to get out of that idea of I need to make this amount in order to be somebody or to even say that I am somebody or I can do something. We need to change our mindset on all of that. We need to realize that we're living in fear. Fear of if I don't have it, what's going to happen next? So let's talk a little bit about how to release fear and step into alignment. I know there's a lot of people out there where fear is the last thing that keeps us stuck. But yet there's a lot of people out there who also have that fear of change, that fear of loss, fear of being judged for choosing themselves. But let me tell you real quick, Staying where you're unseen out of fear is a slow form of self betrayal. Now, granted, I don't think anybody wants to deliberately betray themselves or anybody else. But alignment begins with one honest question: does this space nourish me or drain me? I say again, does this space nourish me or drain me? A lot of individuals don't ask themselves these hard questions, and a lot of people do not like receiving these hard questions from other people. They oftentimes take it or receive it as an attack. Mm-mm. You need to learn how to hold yourself accountable. You need to learn how to ask yourself these questions, because a lot of times we put ourselves in situations out of fear of disappointing others. With all due respect, F that. You don't have to burn bridges. You don't have to explain yourself to everyone. You just have to trust that choosing yourself is not selfish, it's necessary. A lot of people don't want to do things that are necessary. You need to do what is necessary for you, because in order for you to find your purpose, you need to find where you belong. If you keep allowing yourself to go places that is not meant for you, pulling you out of alignment, making it to where you are imbalanced, you're not going to get yourself aligned. And with you not being aligned, you're not going to be able to live out your purpose. You're going to constantly feel drained. You're going to constantly feel misunderstood. You're going to be having that going to work and dreading it, to come home and you don't know what to do with your life because you're so tired and drained mentally, emotionally, and the fatigue is out the roof. It's all right, though. You're going to get it. We are going to get it. I'm going to give you a quick story about something I had went through. I think I briefly spoke about it before, but I've worked a lot of jobs to where I've always been one of the higher performers, but nothing ever came out of it. And I had realized it's more about who likes you than what you're doing. I've never been the type to get into cliques and all that stuff. I'm like, look, I'm going to do what I need to do and keep it moving. I am a genuinely hospitable individual, and people love to come to me and just tell me any and everything. I guess I'm very approachable, which makes sense. I'm always smiling. I love and hate everybody equally. So I was once working at a gas station, and I knew my time there was up. I had put in 2 resignation letters, and both times I put in the resignations, I had managers from other stores pretty much begging me not to leave because they liked that I was reliable. They liked the fact that I had a good work ethic, and I oftentimes went above and beyond because that was something I valued, my work ethic. It reached a point where I'm doing so much to where I'm doing things from that other shifts should have been doing. And I knew that if I didn't do that, I was going to get blamed for it because it was going to be, well, you were there. Why didn't you do it? Now, with it, it was aggravating because they don't want to pay me the amount of for the stuff that I'm doing, covering other shifts, training individuals, sometimes even showing them how to do the manager paperwork. Long story short, there, I already had another job lined up, was already had a date of when I was starting that job. It got to the point where I was like, you know what, I need to cut ties with this altogether. So of course, what I do, I made it a way to where they would fire me and I cannot get rehired without doing anything that would end up causing me to go to jail or anything like that. So honestly, what I did, it was funny. Had a beer. Now with it, anytime that shit, ever since I was working at the gas station, even at other locations, I always had a beer. When you're doing jobs like that, working by yourself overnight, you need to deal with the motherfuckers that you come across. But when I got off, I would always pay for the beer. Now, granted, I know exactly what happened there. I'm not going to go into that, but there was a very high strung, overly motivated manager in training that led to some stuff. But then with it, it also showed me the level of respect that they had for me. No matter how many times I was doing things right and covering other people and all that stuff, and they're constantly giving me verbal praise. But what got me the most was the fact that the manager, I never knew that I was fired. The manager never told me. I found out from people out in town. And that's when I was just like, wow, the fact that the manager doesn't have the decency or courtesy, respect to even let a person know, even after the manager messages the person and then says, and then 2.5 weeks go by after you respond to the manager within like a couple seconds. So it was just like, what the world? That right there showed me, you know what? I'm just another number. And then at my new position, I ended up making history in the company from being the fastest promoted person. In a matter of 9 months, I get promoted to a new position and a couple zeros pay raise. And it just showed me that, you know what? I haven't been doing anything wrong. I was just somewhere that I wasn't supposed to be. And that's exactly what I want to say to you. So don't ever think that you're doing all that you can and nothing's happening, or you're being mistreated. You're not being mistreated. You're just misaligned. You're not where you're supposed to be. Sometimes you need to cut ties with something altogether to find what it is that you need in your life. But hey, if this episode resonated with you, let me leave you with this. You were never invisible. You were misplaced. And the moment you choose alignment over comfort, your world will shift. Your people will find you. Your voice will carry. Your light will shine farther than you ever imagined. So ask yourself, where am I shrinking to belong? And what would happen if I stopped? If this message spoke to you today, like the episode, subscribe, and share it with someone who feels unseen right now. And drop a comment below. What space are you ready to leave or step into? Until next time, trust your timing, honor your truth, and remember, relax your mind. This is Divine Time. Peace.
Hey, beautiful souls. If you love deep conversations about life, love, and spiritual growth, help us reach more like-minded people. Like, comment, and share to push these powerful episodes through the algorithm. Let's build a community that thrives on wisdom and connection. Find us everywhere. YouTube at Danley_Divine, Facebook and Kick at Divine Time Podcast, and also follow the blog, divinetime.blog. If you're looking for your soul tribe, join our Telegram group, Warriors of Love. Together we rise. Divine Time is now.